Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill here on this Wednesday morning. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick. Allen alongside. We're going to head on out to the phone lines as we've got Kris Pursiainen. He covers the Knicks for Clutch Points, co-host of the Locked On Knicks podcast as well. Kris, good Wednesday morning. Are you still riding the high of the Knicks in the NBA Finals?
Thanks for having me, Jack. And listen, I mean, as someone just reporting on the team, I try to be a bit like water, try and just reflect the vibes that I see as opposed to introduce my own. It's very hard not to be just a sponge to all the passion and excitement and energy in the city right now. I mean, the other night when they clinched that series win, I went out, made it to the outside of Madison Square Garden by around 10:50 p.m. and just decided, everyone else on the beat is in Cleveland. Me still being younger, no one covered my travel. I said, I don't have the dollar bills to get to Cleveland by myself just yet, early in my career. So let me do what I can do and get out to the Garden. So I was out there from around 10:50 p.m. to about 1:45 a.m. And I can tell you there were new hordes of people coming through at 12:45, at 1:20, the police were still outside MSG at 1 a.m, 50 police officers standing together, not doing anything else seemingly. And I was like, interesting. Like they really are still not 5 minutes later, hundreds of people came by at 1 a.m. I was like, oh, that's why they're still here.
I bet being in New York around MSG, better vibe than being in Cleveland there, because as a fan, I like being around fans sometimes more than I like being around as media. I'm a Seahawks fan. I know that's weird being here in Richmond, Virginia, but I'm a Seahawks fan. And I love being in and around the city of Seattle. It might be because I'm in Richmond more so than like going to the games, or like as a JMU guy, I like going to the watch parties and the bars rather than necessarily going to the games. Cause like you're with the Hardo fans. And that must've been what it felt like in front of MSG that night, because it's what, 26, 27 years of pain kind of relinquished all there in one game.
Yeah, definitely a lot of built up frustration for Knicks fans. I think, emotion is tough to track over time, especially from so many different people. There are so many variables, but for the most part, and there are always going to be, supporters and dissidents in either direction, but of anything. But for the most part, it seems like Knicks fans, for my lifetime thus far, have been pretty frustrated, not with just the results. I think saying they're frustrated with the results would be a bit oversimplified. What's frustrated Knicks fans most is the process. The results have never been good, but what the team has been doing in that time has not encouraged many fans. And when Leon Rose and William Wesley were tasked with running the Knicks, they came in day one and plucked executives from several other front offices that they wanted to copy, that they wanted to mold themselves after. They went out and hired staff, scouts, trainers, everyone top to bottom, just the best they could. It's an uncapped area of the salary cap. So, Governor James Dolan, for all the crap that he gets from fans, has been more than willing to invest. And he's given the Knicks an award-winning training staff. They won last year. He's given the Knicks a former coach of the year several times in Thibodeau and Brown. He only hires former coaches of the year, and there you go. He's given the Knicks superstar players, even though he didn't always think they'd be superstar players, right? Like the New York Knicks signed Jalen Brunson. They were the first team in NBA history to give somebody a contract worth $100 million or more, even though they didn't draft that player. And even though that player had never made an all-star game in any way whatsoever, right? We know a lot of teams give out those supermax rookie deals. It feels like they're a supermax, even though the guy's like 23. Brunson didn't get one of those. The Mavericks wouldn't sign him to it. If you remember, they wanted to have flexibility to get a better second co-star for Luka Doncic. They couldn't extend Brunson to the deal he was willing to take that summer, which, by the way, was worth about well under $20 million a year, because it would have given him a no trade clause. And they were afraid that that would limit their options with Luka Doncic. So they decided the same way they did with Steve Nash, that the risk of letting this guard that wears number 13 for the Dallas Mavericks walk was worth it. New York took advantage. They were ridiculed the entire time, even by their own fans. But I bring this all up to say, even while fans were doubtful of the process, they respected and appreciated that the results were starting to come. And once they did in 2021, the team made the 4th seed. Once they did in 2022, the team acquired Jalen Brunson. You definitely, again, you had your dissidents, but there was a clear vision taking place, being executed.
Man, you forget about all the moves that were made by this front office after they were brought in 2020 to get to this point. And getting to this point wasn't necessarily easy, Kris, because they fumbled the game late against the Atlanta Hawks in what was that, game 3, to go down 2-1 to Atlanta. Since then, they have been the most dominant team we have ever seen over an 11-game stretch in the history of the NBA. What's changed for New York since going down 2-1 to the Hawks?
Yeah, I love the way you frame that, what's changed, because a lot of people will say, oh, nothing. They just finally started, For me personally, if you're reading a book or watching a movie or something where the character is in one room the whole time, the story is still moving, but the movement of the story is in their mind, right? This is a crazy analogy, but rock with me like Michael Jackson for 2 seconds. You are going to see the movement of the story take place in their mind. Everything that happens, everything that you follow throughout this book or movie is going to be inside this character's head. And for the New York Knicks, let's forget the regular season, right? A little bit of a roller coaster. You guys talked about it before the break, before I hopped on. They had a really rough stretch earlier in the season. They responded to that stretch with a 9-game winning streak. That rough stretch was a response to their NBA Cup championship. So there was a roller coaster to be ridden, right? But if you want to just ignore all of that, the exact same pieces, the exact same ingredients, the exact same pieces of the puzzle are on the table. And it's what changed is the way that Mike Brown deploys them. What changed is the way that they're willing to be deployed. What changed is their attention to detail. What changed is their focus. Now, I'm not saying any of these things were unacceptable. Previously, they did win that first game against the Atlanta Hawks with this level of focus, this type of deployment of their talent, this level of motivation, however you want to put it, right? But Karl Anthony Towns went to Mike Brown after game 3. He was like, hey, this first, second, third, and sixth option being Jalen Brunson offense, we know how far this can get us. And we're down 2-1 now. Let's do something different. And, previous coaches in Knicks history might have laughed him out the room. They may have been insulted that he even suggested a change, that he thinks he knows better. Mike Brown didn't necessarily just say, oh, okay, Karl, well, you're the big star and I do what you want, so let's do what you want. No, Mike Brown pushed back. He pulled up the film. He pointed Karl out on the film to Karl. And he said, oh, you want the ball here? Yeah, okay, what are you doing sulking in the corner? Oh, you want the ball here? After you set the screen? Well, then do a pick and roll, not a pick and stroll, right? And it's like Cat responded to that. Brown responded to Cat coming to him. And they worked together because they're united behind the same goal, the Knicks winning the championship. And so they figured that out. Ever since then, Karl Anthony Towns has been a Dominican Jokic, right? And it's like he's been playmaking from the top of the key. He's been finding teammates like OG Anunoby and Jalen Brunson on cuts, optimizing them off the ball. He's opening room up for Mikal Bridges to cook in the mid-range. He stops teams from totally selling out on Josh Hart defensively because the center can shoot from 30 feet. It's just incredible to watch this, especially against the Cavaliers, because they have Evan Mobley. They cut off Cat as a playmaker, and the Knicks said, oh, you don't want us to run our new offense? Oh, no, I guess we just have to hope that Jalen Brunson can score.
And it worked. It certainly worked. Man, when you put it like that, it's pretty impressive. Kris Pursiainen joining us. He covers the Knicks for Clutch Points. You can listen to him as well on the Locked On Knicks podcast. Kris, as you're going through all of that, the Karl Anthony Towns of it has been well documented. It was. I mean, that was some fantastic insight there. I did not even know that Mike Brown sat down with Cat and had that whole kind of come to Jesus. But over the last 11 games, Jalen Brunson gets all the headlines. But, I mean, you've got OG Anunoby going on an absolute tear. Landry Shamet coming off the bench has hardly missed from three-point land. You've got so many different players that have played a role in this. Who's played the biggest role in this 11-game win streak? Is it Cat because of what he did by sitting down with Mike Brown? Is it Jalen Brunson because, well, it's Jalen Brunson? Is it someone else? Over these 11 games, who's been the most important in your view?
Wow. I want to say the easy answer is Cat because he was willing to be pushed by Mike Brown after the suggestion he made. And it wound up transforming the team's offense. But I will say, I do think Mikal Bridges deserves a lot of credit here. And the reason why I'm going to single him out, despite the fact that everyone listening right now, unless you are his direct family member, in which case, all respect to you, everyone listening knows he's not the best player on the team. And everyone listening knows he's on most days not a top 3 player on the team because OG Anunoby has emerged as, I don't know, Elgin Baylor. So that kind of makes things tough. But for Mikal Bridges, right, this guy, I asked him a question after game 1 against the Cavaliers, and he flexed on me so hard in his answer, I didn't even realize until I was transcribing it after. I said, Mikal, you're so motivated defensively, like whether you're scoring or not, you take pride in that end of the floor. How? Why? Where does that come from? And he's talking to me about, he kind of just like realized when he was a bit younger that his role is always going to be a defender. He looked at himself in the mirror. He saw those fingertips touching his knees. He said, yeah, I'm probably going to be on the wing the rest of my life. So he just started to take pride in it. And as he's telling me all this, he rattles off Nickeil Alexander-Walker, the NBA's most improved player. CJ McCollum, the veteran that diced them up in the first round until, right? He rattles off Tyrese Maxey, the most improved player just the other year, who was an all-star this year and had a better season than Donovan Mitchell, maybe even Jalen Brunson in the regular season. He lists Paul George, who would start out these Knicks Sixers games with 18 points in the first quarter and finish the game with 19. and then he rattled off James Harden and Donovan Mitchell, who he just finished clamping up on the way back from 22 down. Now, let me tell you something. Landry Shamet, who you brought up, wants the ball in those late game scenarios. He runs to the ball. He says, give it to me. And then he chucks that thing on a step back from 26 feet and drains it because why not? Donovan Mitchell and James Harden both actively were not going for the basketball late in game 1 during that comeback, late in game 2, late in game 3. These guys were not seeking out the ball, and I would be not doing my job right. I'd be lying on radio if I said it was because they just didn't want to win the game. It was because they had a 6'7" slender man draped over them like brown on my Chipotle rice because I think the lime is too much on the white, and he made it impossible for them to have an easy time. So when Landry Shamet looks like he wants the basketball more than Donovan Mitchell, you got to ask yourself, why? Is Donovan Mitchell from New York a loser against the Knicks? Or is Mikal Bridges just the hitman?
Mikal Bridges, I mean, the defense Mikal plays and Josh Hart play have been phenomenal, and no secret that they're the part of the Nova Knicks, right, and everything there. The third part of it, and look, this is radio. I've got to ask you the hot takey question of it all. Jalen Brunson now, Kris, where do you see him ranking among the all-time Knicks? We can easily say he's the best Knick in the new millennium, but all time, where does Jalen Brunson, as it stands right now, where does he rank in your view of all-time Knicks?
I thought you were going to say in the NBA right now. I was going to say, listen, there's the 3 7-footers, Giannis, Wemby, Jokic, and Shea. And I don't know who else in the league is better than Brunson, who I'd put as my 5th best player in the world. But when we're talking all-time Knicks, Jack, we started this call by acknowledging that, at least in my lifetime, short thus far, I know, but there's been no final appearances to even speak of until now. Patrick Ewing is indubitably an all-time Knick. He's the 2nd greatest Knick of all time. And the reason for that is if he played in an era against anyone besides that guy in red, he probably would have chipped up. So we can say he's number 2. Number 1, the guy who did chip up. Oh, and by the way, twice in Clyde Frazier. He is an icon, a legend. He is the moment. You can go on, right? But he led the Knicks to the top of the world twice in 3 years. Doesn't get better than that. After those guys, you get a little nitpicky, right? It gets a little bit, Bernard King was a great scorer. Oh, but Dave DeBusschere contributed to those winning teams. He was Willis Reed is going to need to be up there. But after that top 3 of Frazier, Ewing, Reed, I'm inclined to think that Brunson starts to become part of this conversation. And I'm inclined to think that realistically, even with DeBusschere, Bernard King, some of these great players up there, that Jalen Brunson can not just join, but Jalen Brunson can cement himself as one of the 5 greatest Knicks of all time, if not the 4th greatest Knick of all time, with 1 championship ring. At bare minimum, it would be top 4. And if he wins a ring over SGA, over Wemby, over whoever, we can get to debating more then. But I'll tell you, for right now, you're looking at that number 4 spot still kind of opening up, just right beneath that podium of the top 3. And I would go as far as to say Brunson, whether he loses in the finals or not, is probably going to finish his Knicks career with that 4th spot at worst.
I love it. Appreciate your time on this Wednesday morning, Kris. Enjoy the layoff before you've got to get back to covering this team, covering an NBA Finals. We'll catch up again as well. Really appreciate the insights. Appreciate everything. Have a great rest of your Wednesday.
Hey, y'all as well. I appreciate you guys having me on. It was a funny conversation about the 76ers before I joined. So I got some chuckles out of it too. Hey, listen, thanks, fellas. Have a great one, and appreciate you.
Of course, there goes Kris Pursiainen. Covers the Knicks for Clutch Points, is a co-host of the Locked On Knicks podcast as well. You can find him on Twitter. Poor Bruce. Bruce taking some shots.
Yes, always funny conversations with these 76ers, interjecting themselves into any conversation
coming
about
out of the cut.
NBA history. You're nobodies, man. Accept it.
Bruce, Allen.
We don't care about your misery. We know all too well.
The views expressed on the other side of the glass does not necessarily reflect
not about
those.
You, man. You guys had your moments.
It's so funny how the Eagles to me are the Sixers to you. And the unfortunate side is the Bruce is the one taking the brunt of it all.
I just get annoyed. They keep interjecting themselves into the conversation. What about us?
I mean, I think he
what
said
about you?
He said Brunson's number 4 on the all-time Knicks list. I think if he wins the NBA Finals, there's a case to be made that he moves up to number 3, that he gets on that podium.
Yeah, he will have his jersey hung up probably.
Yeah, I mean, if he wins the Finals, he's getting that jersey retired when he leaves. Especially if he then retires a Knick.
Yeah, and career-wise, you got to think, man, when we talk about, the Hall of Fame, and not putting him in the Hall of Fame, but the totality of his career
he's a Hall of
as a
Famer.
Basketball player.
Yeah, he's got basketball Hall of Fame.
He's got the 2 national championships at Villanova, and then he would, presumably bring a title to New York. Like, man, that's again, quite the feat by itself.
Probably would be, if they win it, I'd imagine the route to them winning the NBA Finals would be either him or Cat being an NBA Finals MVP. You add that to the list.
And you know who's catching the stray if the Knicks win the title?
Ooh, Philadelphia?
No, Becky Hammon.
Oh, she's already catching the strays, man.
I would wait until the deal is officially done before you talk crazy.
Yeah, because she did say you can't win a championship with a small guard. Yeah. And so I did see someone quote tweet and they said, don't back down, guys. She said you can't win a title. And people are like, we stand with Becky. So, but she also she was a coach on San Antonio, so she's at this point she's not going to back down and say you can win.
And she knows ball, so
she knows real good ball.
There's always one that defies logic, and if it's Brunson, then so be it. But I like that he really emphasized like the change is really Cat.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of what we've been talking about. Ever since they changed him to be a point center where he orchestrates the offense, they've changed completely. And then he pointed out correctly, right? The Cavs did a really good job of saying, no, you're not going to run your offense through Cat. And the Knicks were like, well, all right, I guess we'll just go through Jalen Brunson.
They were like, this is what we want to do anyway.
Reverse psychology that you're actually now you're playing.
Analytically speaking, this is
analytically speaking, they won, Alan.
Yeah, this is the best situation for us to run it through the guard in a guard happy league. I'm happy to see like the Knicks find a winning way without sacrificing defense, because when we hear offensive teams, we talk about scoring output and stuff. Everybody always, in every sport, it always comes at the expense of defense. But throughout this entire run, their defense has been pretty much elite. The offense has been pretty much elite as well. So
I mean, they've been. You don't just luck into having the best point differential over a 10-game, 11-game stretch in NBA history, regular season or postseason, by just being fine at one of the sides of the basketball. They've been elite. And did you know?
I can give them credit.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I want you to guess how many threes Landry Shamet missed in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh my gosh, probably like 2.
1.
All right. I was gonna say, I don't remember him missing many.
He went 11 of 12 from 3-point land in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's insane.
Give some of that to Champagny.
Yeah.
Again.
Maybe he got it going last night. They need a little bit more out of a Sham Wemby. You know what I mean?
Wemby did disappoint me, but it's part of the maturation of player development. Like a lot of our young players who are great will find moments where they allow themselves to be taken out of their game, right? Like Wemby allowed himself to be taken
100.
out of the post last night.
Yeah.
So
you've got when you're that size, you've got to help the defense help the defending of you, if that makes sense. But